How are you guys doing today?
Very good. And you?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, good.
Okay. Let's get this.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. You guys should have my screen up there. Let me change to this view. All right. Good stuff. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about negotiating. That's the class that we have. I wrote this class with Jesus a ways back, and it was basically looking at the information that I had on negotiating, and we added a bunch of material to it because Jesus is a big believer, and rightly so, that negotiating is a very important tool for some in our industry to have. So in this class, we're going to take kind of a look at it, kind of see how to do it in a better way, think about the things that are important to know about it, and recognize just how much we actually do negotiate. So starting with Carla. Carla, if you tell us where you're from, how long you've been in real estate, and a hobby that you have.
Yes, I'm from Brazil, but I have been working with real estate for over 15 years. I'm not a full-time, but it's something that I love to do, real estate. I have a background in finances, also in loan processing, bank accounts, and I love negotiating.
Good stuff.
It's part of my history. Yeah.
Good stuff. Damaris. Damaris. There you are.
Yes, hi.
How are you?
Good.
So the questions on the board: where are you from? How long you been in real estate, and a hobby you have?
Okay, I'm in real estate like not even a year. I just my name is Damaris Guerra. I'm from Honduras. I love, but the thing is, I have so many things complicated in personal life. But I keep listen the how you say the classes because I just have a surgery like last week. And then I'm in the bed. I didn't realize so many activity in the real estate.
Gotcha.
But I have like 4 months in real estate with Real Empire
Okay.
Group.
Good stuff. Gabrielle, thanks for joining. How are you? I think you're unmuted. It says you're unmuted, but you must have a little mute button pushed on those headphones because I have the exact same headphones and there's a little button on the headphones that makes you mute. Nope, you're still muted. I think it's actually in the back of the headphone. Technical support. I need technical support. All right. Hello, technical support department. Oh, she's got glasses. That means she's officially good at tech support. I don't have glasses, which is why I'm terrible at it. I do not hear you, but I see your mouth moving, which in no small way is helpful. My lip reading skills are non-existent. Hello?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you both.
Better now.
Call
Okay.
for tech support, and it works. Nicely done, technical support department. Thank you. So, where are you from?
Hi.
Hobby you have?
Okay, my name is No Gabriel. This is my niece. No, don't finish now. That's fine. Don't fix it now. Come in. We don't have time.
So see, you could have literally spent the whole day using that name, and you'd have been set. We would have never known who it was. Isabel, it is.
Terrible. Okay. Hi, I'm sorry. My name is Isabel Lopez. I'm new on real estate, completely new. I'm
Oh.
start taking my webinars and training since last week. So
Okay.
what I used to do is insurance. I'm an insurance agent, but I
Okay.
also work with my husband. We have a little business, car business.
Okay.
That's
Good,
it.
good enough.
And
Mhm. Go
I'm
ahead.
willing to learn as much as I can.
Well, I am going to do my best to do some of the teaching right now. So we'll see how this works out. All right.
Okay.
Dalmi. Dalmi is a return customer.
Yes, I always like to repeat my classes because it is stay more in you, and you whatever you don't learn on the first one, it stays that little one that you stay with, it add to it.
Yep. Okay. So
So
where are you from? How long in real estate and a
I'm
hobby you have?
I'm from originally from Cuba, but I've been in the United States like 50 years. And before I used to work for the police department, I was a crime analyst. And now I just loved real estate. And my hobby is fishing.
Okay. Good stuff. All right.
Nice.
So we now know who everybody in the room is. It appears we have a small class, which is fine. That means that we'll be able to take and spend a little bit more time on things that matter to you guys individually. So please, if you have a question, let me know. Broker associate, I've got a couple of real estate designations and a bunch more, a bunch of other licenses as well. Top selling agent since 2008. Wrote the A series of courses, which this is one of the A series of courses. And I wrote a book called The Roadmap to the American Dream, which is a popular book on how money works. This is the A series of classes, and there's a lot of them. And I had to write a book for each one of them, which was just a lot of writing. For a guy that did not like writing in school, that was really annoying, but it's done now. So yay for that. This is one of the A series of classes. The state recognizes this class. It's approved for 4 hours of a continuing education when it's done in a CE format. We're not doing it in a CE format. Most of you guys are new, so you don't even need the CE hours. You still have to do your post license. But this is a CE class. I teach it all over. I taught this class a bunch. All right. If you like the way that I teach and you want to see other places that I'm teaching besides Real Estate Empire, I mean, I work with you guys. I'm an agent with Real Estate Empire, but acecloser.com is where my course schedule is located. All right. It's time to do what we do in every class that I teach. Kahoot. You're going to get your cell phone out. You're going to go to www.kahoot.it. And we are going to play a game. I will put it in the chat so everybody can see it. Very dramatic music too. It's going to ask you for a game pin. The game pin is the number at the top of the screen, 730-1852.
What screen? Hold on. I don't see it. Huh?
That number right here at the top of the screen.
But I have the wrong. Shoot. I got it now. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I just realized the screen share wasn't working. So
Okay. It's okay. So
the code should be on your screen. Damaris, it is 730-1852. I'll put it in the chat for you. 730-1852. That's the game pin. Carla is in. All right. I guess that's everybody. Let's go. How do you feel about negotiating? I live to do it. I love it with every inch of my being. I don't look forward to it. Meh. It's the worst thing in the world, and I hate the folks that answered A.
No. Sorry, I printed the wrong one.
Now, this particular one, there isn't a right answer for.
Mm-hmm.
The faster you answer, the more points you get, though. So, actually, all of them are right. So, all right, fair enough. Damaris didn't pick. Of an agent's time spent working, what percentage is spent negotiating on average? Less than 20%, around 50%, more than 90%, 110%, and there's no I in team. Put me in coach.
Mm-hmm.
There is a right answer to this one. 2 seconds. Guys, more than 90% of our time is spent negotiating. Let me ask you a question. That marketing piece that we write, is that a negotiation tool? What do you think? Either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. Your choice.
What is the question again?
The question is, that marketing piece that we're working on, is that a negotiation tool?
Yes, it is.
You're trying to persuade somebody to do something you want them to do.
Yes.
It's a negotiation.
You market it.
That phone call, that cold call that you're on, negotiation.
Yes.
Talking with the seller about listing their home, negotiation.
Yes.
Trying to get the buyer to take and put an offer in on the property that they just saw that they like, negotiation.
Definitely.
No.
Actually showing the home in general, is that a negotiation?
Yes, you try to sell the home.
You're trying to persuade the customer to do
Yeah.
something.
The persuade, yeah.
The vast majority of what we do in our business, guys, is a form of negotiation. Okay. What are the 2 types of negotiation done in real estate? Conglomerative and interrogative, smart and dumb, collaborative and competitive, drunk and less drunk. Faster answers score more points. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Well, 3 of you got it right. And 1 person just didn't want to answer. All right. So yes, collaborative and competitive. We're going to talk about those 2 and what's different about them. What is the main emotional motivators for customers, especially sellers, to use our services? Greed, show me the money. Fear, I'm afraid of making a mistake. Laziness, selling or buying a home seems like an awful lot of work. Vanity, this house doesn't go well with my new tummy tuck. Guys, the main emotional motivator for customers, agents love to think that it's greed, that people want money. But the reality of it is they hire us because they don't know the transaction well. They're afraid. One of the most important things in any negotiation is to consider where the other side is coming from. Wouldn't you agree? And so in order to do this, we have to think about where they are. Why do we fall heir to, why do they pay us as much as they do? What is the most effective negotiating tool we have? An aluminum baseball bat we keep in the trunk, hard selling techniques we picked up in years of classes, practice and applied negotiating tactics, facts. Guys, the best tool we have, hands down, is facts. There is no better negotiating tool than we have. And I will show you exactly what I mean by that. Okay. What is the best negotiation type? Competitive, collaborative. See if Luca Brasi is free to provide some gentle persuasion, or it depends. Guys, it depends. It depends.
Sorry, I'm having computer issues.
No worries. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Negotiation is constantly adjusting the other side's expectations. Something that should be done with careful planning, can be tense or enjoyable, or all of the above. All right. All the above, guys. All of those things are what negotiation is. All right. Carla, third place. Isabel, second. Grand champion. Adramur, nicely done.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Guys, I'm going to take a quick break. I've been actually in classes all morning, so I need to take a quick break. We'll come back in maybe 10 minutes and we'll pick up from there, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Kevin, Kevin.
Okay, everybody here, ready to go?
Yes.
Yes.
I saw you unmute, Isabel, so I'm assuming that was a yes. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you guys think about negotiation? Some agents tend to think, let me load up for bear. They get excited. They arm up. Others are just hoping it's going to be peaceful and friendly and nice and sweet and loving and kind and caring. Most agents are a little bit terrified. Most agents are worried about running into that agent that's a really good negotiator. Is that something you guys think about?
Yes.
A little worried about running into that person that's a very good negotiator?
Yes, probably because I'm not too well prepared.
Right. You know, we don't want somebody to come eat our lunch, basically. You know, we don't want to run into that person that's better prepared than we are. So it's a reasonable fear to have. And honestly, the problem with it, that fear is it takes our confidence away when we present to the customer. So where do we negotiate, guys? Where are some places that we negotiate? We talked about a few before, but let's talk about some activities, some things that go on in the typical real estate transaction that are negotiation locations.
Right at the house.
I don't mean
Uh,
geographic locations. I mean activities that we do that require negotiation.
Like having lunch.
Exactly. Lunch. Or in the office.
How about inspections?
Inspection. Yeah. Inspection.
Do we have to negotiate the inspection report? The inspection report comes back and it has $10,000 worth of repairs. Is that going to be a new negotiation with the seller?
No.
Yes.
Sure it is.
Yes.
Guys, just because you have an as-is contract doesn't mean the buyer can't walk away for any reason they want to during the inspection period. That inspection report comes back with a whole bunch of things on it. We're going to have a whole second round of negotiation in that contract. So just because you got the contract signed doesn't mean anything. We have to get through the inspections. And once the inspections are done and the report comes in, we're probably going to have to ask for a credit from the seller for something. The listing presentation, would that be another place where we negotiate?
Yes.
What are some other ones, guys?
Mm.
Kind of the obvious one.
In
When
the
you-
office.
in the house itself.
Those are geographical locations. I'm talking about the actual activities that we do,
Activities. Oh, okay.
like the listing presentation, like inspections. What are other things that make us have to negotiate?
Doing the comparable.
How about the contract?
The contract. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
How about the appraisal? The appraisal comes in low. Is that something else we're going to have to now negotiate with the other side?
Yeah, that's true. Because sometimes the owners are very high expectation of the price. So if you come up with the reason why it should not be that at that high price,
Well, when you're talking about coming up for the reason why the price
Yeah.
shouldn't be so high, you're literally talking about trying to bring up facts to persuade the
Right.
customer that their position is incorrect. Guys, understand that's what negotiation is. We're literally trying to persuade the other side that their position is not as good as the position that we want them to adopt. That's what we're
Right.
trying to do with all of this. How about offer amounts? Do you sometimes have to negotiate with your customer to offer the right amount for the house to get it?
Yes, we have to persuade sometimes our own clients because they think that they could offer less than actually the value is.
Sure. What do you think, Carla?
Yes, definitely we have to negotiate.
And it's a different kind of negotiation than it might be with negotiating with the other side, right? Because these are our customers. So we have to handle them differently than we do the other
Yes.
side, probably. There's
Right.
quite a bit of nuance to that, right? Because
Yes.
we
more
have to
fair.
push, but at the same time, we have to make sure that they feel like we're still on their side and looking out for their best interest, while at the same time trying to convince them usually to offer more than they want to.
Yeah, because there's a lot of competition around, and maybe they
But those
can
those
lose
those
that.
those are the reasons, Adalmi. I'm not looking at the reasons. I'm thinking about the logic that goes into it. The things that you're saying are specific to the market. I'm looking at what is the mental perspective that we have to have of this type of negotiation and understand that it's a different negotiation than negotiating with the other side about the inspections.
Oh,
When I'm negotiating about the inspections, yes, I want the other agent to respect me. I want the other agent to like working with me. But at the same time, I don't need the other agent to think that I'm fighting for them.
mm.
I don't want them to think I'm fighting for them. That's a big
No.
difference than what I need my customer to feel. I need my customer to feel like I'm fighting for them. At the same time, I need to be able to tell them, hey, look, you're not offering enough of this property. You need to offer more. That me
Yeah.
saying that is counter to the idea that I'm looking out for them. I'm telling them to spend more money, but I'm saying, hey, look, it's better for you to spend more money because what you want more than that money is this house. And so
That's what I'm
I'm
saying,
sorry.
because depend on how much they want the property. Because if they don't care that much for the property, you don't talk to the owner. But if they are really dying for that house, then you have to make a bias.
You always
Yes.
always should offer advice. You are the real estate professional in the room. If we're not offering advice, then really they just need somebody to fill out paperwork. And at that point, we're not
Yeah.
worth our commission.
Yeah. Okay. I get you.
We are supposed to be the real estate professional in the room. We are always supposed to offer advice. And that advice might be, you know what? Offer a little bit less. You don't like the
That's
house that
true.
much? Offer a little bit less. Maybe you'll like it better at this price.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Right. That's fine.
How about extensions, guys? When we need an extension on a deal, is that something else that we have to negotiate?
Yes, we need to get, try to get the best date for the client interest to close. Finance, we have to
Run
be
into a bunch of that
jiggling
now,
between-
aren't we?
Yeah,
Right now, banks are backlogged. I mean, I've been working on a refinance for a property of mine, and I think I'm going on 2.5 months now.
wow.
And they just told me yesterday that there's some more conditions that they're going to email me after I've already gone through like 5 rounds of conditions. So yeah, it's taking much longer to get these things done because there's so much demand for them. How about this? Is it ever a negotiation on how we show the property with our customer, our listings? Do we negotiate with the seller how we show their property?
Yes, we need to
Yes,
prepare
we
the
have-
property and to show the best way to get the best money.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's true. That's
And
true.
so we're supposed to be the real estate professional in the room. We can't just simply take that they say, well, I want to show it this way. Well, maybe you want to show it this way based upon the information that you have. Let me give you the full picture of why showing it the way you're talking about might not be in our best interest to get you the most for your home. All right. The most important thing, most important negotiation that occurs, and this is the negotiation. This is the very first negotiation you get into with a new customer. Does anybody know what that very first negotiation is a negotiation for? What do you think? Very first thing that we're negotiating for.
When you meet with the customer, for
Yeah.
him to hire you, basically, to have you as the
This
representative.
this negotiation is going on. Why this negotiation starts before that?
Okay.
Show the customer your credential.
That's
and
close. That's
The
very
contract
close.
itself.
It's a
the property
negotiation.
itself.
It's a negotiation for credibility, guys.
Right.
The second we make contact with the customer in any way, shape, or form, we are trying to get that customer to buy into us as being a credible source of information, as being an expert in what we do. I mean, let's be honest. What we're putting ourselves forward as is a real estate market expert. When the
Yep.
customer's hiring us, that's what they're hoping to get. Now, you guys all know a bunch of agents. What would you say the odds of them getting a real estate market expert are when they hire an agent? What do you think?
What they know about the market and the
What are the odds that the average customer hires an agent that turns out to be a market expert? What do you think, Carla?
Not that much. No.
Pretty bad, huh?
It's very, yeah.
As my
Very
dog says,
difficult.
rough.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough out there, right? There's not a lot of real estate experts out there. So the good news is, I know there's a couple of folks in here that are pretty new. It's not hard to be better than most agents out there, because most agents out there never bother to learn much of anything except what they have to learn to squeak by and get a deal or two to close.
Mm.
If you are better than that, if you work harder than that, if you actually actively go out there and try to learn your trade and try to learn the market, you will do better than them. You will be better than them. Your customers will be luckier to be with you than they will with any of those other agents, because you actually know what the hell you're doing, which sounds crazy, but is the truth. So there's three things we need, guys. This is probably the best place to put this in right now. There are three things that we need to do what the ACE series of classes, and this is one of the ACE series of classes, is all about. I don't think I told you what it's about, so I'll tell you right now. All of the classes I write, everything is all predicated, it's all based upon one major idea: that you do not measure success in closing checks earned. You measure success in customers that would never do business with anybody else but you ever again. Real success is building a business, not earning a paycheck. A paycheck is an indicator that you've done enough things right to get paid. And that's good. That's good, but it's not enough. And most agents are content to make that enough. So what are the three things you need? Well, this one is the second one. What are the three things you need? Does anybody want to take a shot at it?
You need knowledge.
Well, that would fall under credibility.
Credibility.
The big three. You want to write these down, because these are the three things that you're constantly fighting for with the customer. The first one is rapport. What is rapport?
One, two, and three. Rapport.
What do you guys think it is?
How you
You score?
interact with the customer.
I heard, all right. I heard somebody else. What was it you, Damaris? What did you say it was? What is rapport?
Yeah, the report is not the score you have.
I'm sorry, say it again.
It's not the score you have, like you had 540, 560. It's not that the report I needed.
No.
No. Okay.
All right. So that's you're thinking about credit report.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Credit.
Rapport is RAPPORT, and I'm pretty sure it's a French word that's in English. And Carla, what do you think? You sound like you might have done this one for a little while. What do you think? What rapport? When I say rapport, what do you think it is?
My computer. It's more toward your attitude to get the business.
If I'm going to take and make it kind of easy, rapport is that they like you. Rapport is just that your customer likes you. Is it easier to get people that like you to work with you? What do you think? Don't all answer at once. I find it very confounding. If the customer likes you, is it easier to get them to work with you?
Definitely, yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
It's not a trick question. It's an easy one.
Yes.
I do ask trick questions, but that wasn't one of them. All right. So the question is rapport enough? Because most agents stop with rapport. They're all about going in there and schmoozing the customer and getting them to like me. And I was telling my stories. And yeah, they stop at rapport. But the question is rapport enough? All right, well, let me ask you this question. Does anybody have a friend, maybe like a little bit of a crazy friend, that if they were to walk in the room right now, you would get a huge smile on your face? Like immediately they walk in the room, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. This person has the best stories. I mean, hilarious, crazy. I mean, that time that they did a little bit too much cocaine in the back of the limo and decided to run butt naked through the woods, covering themselves in honey, and had the bear chasing him, jumped over the fence, went up in the guy's swimming pool. The pit bull was chasing him, went up on the trampoline with the pit bull, managed to just get away before the police got him. And that's how come he doesn't have a criminal record, but really he probably should have one. That being said, hilarious stories. your face hurts from laughing so hard when this person tells you stories. First person you call when you need somebody to babysit your kids.
Definitely not that cost. Not the
You're not
friend.
feeling that, huh? But you like
No.
them. The
I
rapport is
love that.
great. This is the thing, guys. This is where Freck 1 and Freck 2 left us high and dry. They talked about rapport and they acted like that was the only thing we needed to know. Know the law, develop rapport, you're set. It's not enough. We need to have credibility, which is I like this person that I'm working with, so I got the rapport covered, and this person that I'm talking to really knows their stuff. They're good at what they do. So how do we do that? Well, guys, the first step to winning a negotiation for credibility is recognizing that you're even in a negotiation for credibility, which most of you kind of, sort of, maybe did know you were in one, but not really. And so my question to you is, when you talk to customer, what are the things that you're saying to them to build credibility, to build the feeling in your customer that you know what the hell you're doing?
Okay. Yes.
I know most classes don't talk a whole heck of a lot about this, but to me, it's one of the most important things that exists, because you don't want to close this customer for just this deal. I'm sorry, I'm greedy. I want every single deal they're ever going to do. So I need to take and establish myself as a person that they're very lucky to have found. And my knowledge of the market is essential to them feeling that way about me. I want a certain feeling from them. I suppose, well, you're all ladies. Let me see. You found the best guy you've ever met. He's smart. He's funny. He's rich. He's crazy about you. Takes you nice places, buys you nice things. Wonderful person. You've never even had a fight with him. Are you out looking for a new boyfriend?
No.
No.
No? Huh.
Maybe.
I wonder why. Guys, the reason why customers don't use agents more than once is because they're lousy boyfriends / girlfriends. They're not good at the relationship. We give customers reasons to look someplace else. So that's the second thing. The third thing we're not going to talk a lot about in this class. We go over it more in the objections class and places like that. But the third one is trust. And the trust, that third item, that trust, is not that they trust us with the keys to the house. That trust is the type of trust that says this agent that knows, that I like, that knows a lot about the business, will take less to make sure I get what I want. They care more about what matters to me than they do about what should matter to them. What matters most to my agent is that I'm well taken care of, more so than their total commission dollars.
Yeah, they feel secure with that agent that it's going to do the best for them.
For them and not for the agent themselves. Now, maybe a lot of times the best for them winds up being the best for us, but not all the time. And when it's not, that's when you want to make sure to highlight the fact that, hey, look, I'm doing this. This is not the best for me. I'm doing this for you because I want to see you get what you want. Because here's the thing, of the three things, that trust that the customer believes you're looking out for them more so than for yourself is the hardest of the three to get, but it is the most valuable tool in making us irreplaceable. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Definitely, yeah. We have constant referrals.
Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. I have not advertised in 8 years now. Not at all. All of my business comes from past business, 100%. Okay. What is the customer's main emotional motivator? We talked about it. It's fear. They're afraid.
Yeah.
They're afraid of, and if you look at the NAR statistics of why customers use agents, they're all fear-based motivators. They're afraid of making a mistake. They're afraid of getting the wrong property. They're afraid of what the negotiation is going to be like. They're afraid of the contract. They're afraid of making a legal error that's going to cost them money. They don't even know how to get the home inspection done and how that process works and how to negotiate it after the fact. They just don't know. So let me ask you a question. if fear is their main motivator, what do we need to do?
It showed them the facts and how to conquer the fear by the fact that you present to them. To make sure they qualify and say you can qualify. You have to build up your credit, and make them well.
Let me ask it a different way. You're falsely accused of murder. You're about to interview your attorney. Are you afraid?
Of course.
What
because
do you
I
want?
don't want to tell them all the truth.
What do you want from that attorney? If you were in that position, what would make you feel less afraid? What could that attorney do to make you feel less afraid?
That attorney is going to do everything he could, and he have the knowledge to make the negotiation better.
Well, how would that start? How would that attorney start that interview in a way that results in the kind of results that you would want?
You tell them that you here to make sure that they get the best bargain or the best deal for that house that they are looking for.
Maybe so. I don't think that's where, if I was accused of murder, I don't think that's where I'd want the attorney to start. I'd want the attorney.
We need to make.
Got it, Isabel? I'm ready to listen.
We need to make them comfortable first and trust us.
Okay.
To make sure you feel, trust.
What do you think, Damaris?
Before we get to.
Oh, God, finish, Isabel. It's okay.
The attorney needs.
Would you repeat the question again, please?
Okay. Imagine you are falsely accused of murder and an attorney is coming in to speak with you. How should the attorney handle that conversation? Because we agree that you are probably very afraid right now, right? You've been booked, handcuffed, photographed. You're afraid. How would that attorney handle that meeting to set your mind at ease? What would be the right way to start?
He needs to present himself and show me that he has experience enough to.
And so, how would he do that?
Represent me.
It's a good. You're on the right track, Carla. I like what you're saying, but here's the problem, right? I have agents that come in to get a listing, and they come with a 97-page listing presentation with a holographic image of their broker popping up on the cover, talking about the history of the company and how wonderful they are and how little drops of stardust falls down every time they list a property and, makes it turn into a castle in the sky. All of this stuff. Let me ask you guys this question.
Make it simple.
Who here has ever been out on a date when the person on the other side of the date does nothing but talk about themselves, more so brag about themselves?
No, you listen. You have to listen.
Just a little at a time. No. Who's been on that kind of a date?
I didn't have the luck, so I'm good.
Okay, so my question is this: imagine being on a date with someone that does nothing but brag the entire time. Is that? Are you thinking, sexy stuff, can't wait to tear my clothes off for this person? Or are you thinking, get me the hell out of here?
You lose interest in 5 minutes.
Get me the hell out of here, right?
Yeah, sure.
How many of our listing presentations are get me the hell out of here events for customers where we sit there and talk about the history of our company and our sales and our letters of recommendation and all of our designations and all of our blah, 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 blah.
No, I guess to get the fear off the person, you have to ask him a question, reference, why are they fear? Where is their fear about like,
They don't realize they're afraid.
Exactly.
They don't realize they're afraid.
No.
And you know what? I don't need to tell them. Because if my defense attorney comes in and says, let me explain to you why you should be afraid,
No, that's not good.
that's not sexy either. I'll tell you what, my defense attorney could come in and tell me his history of cases he's dealt with and yada, yada, yada. And I'm really afraid. So maybe I might listen for a while, but eventually I'm going to get bored. You know, the best way that my attorney could probably come in and swing me to his side is to thoroughly explain to me the situation that I'm in and exactly what they're going to do to get me out of it. Because you know what? While I might be curious about the attorney's credentials, I'm really, really curious about what's going to happen to me.
Well,
Right.
what about that? I need, as a customer, or when as a customer in this case, I need to make sure the people is going, the agent is going to represent me, is aware of my needs and listen,
Let me ask you a question.
something like that.
Let me ask you a question. If you talk to an agent and they blow you away on how much they know about the market and they educate you so well on the market, you understand the market so much better just from talking with them, and they're excited about their market, are you fairly certain they can probably get you what you need? Here's the thing. There's things that you can say and do that answer all the questions that you guys think the customer has. The customer does have the look. Let me see if I can put it this way. Most agents out there should simply have a little order pad like this, right? And a little pen, and talk to the customer like this. Okay, so you want 3 bedrooms? Okay, and would you like 2 baths with that? We have, or maybe a side of a half bath to go with it. Get yourself an apron and go back to being a waitress because you're an order taker. We need to be more than just order takers. And if you're an order taker, if you go in as the defense attorney and you're letting the customer tell you, you're letting your client tell you how you should handle the defense, are you doing much to deal with their fear motivator?
No.
You're not. You're not. So guys, what I'm going to tell you is that we leave some of the best credibility building times on the table. Customer says to you, so how's the market? And we say, oh, it's great. And then we move on to the next topic. Customer asks me how the market is. That customer's in for at least a 15, 20-minute conversation. Absolutely. Because I'm supposed to be a market expert. I'm supposed to be excited about the market that I do for a living, guys. This is what we do for a living. We should be interested and excited about what's going on in our market. And more so than that, we should be able to explain it to our customers because it allows us to win the negotiation for credibility. After I explain to them where the market is, why it is, where I think it's going, where I think it's going, and all the good reasons I have why I think it's going, where I think it's going. Is that a different conversation they're going to have out of the next 100 agents that they interview? Most of us are sitting there saying, so what kind of a house are you looking for? Are you pre-approved? We're asking them questions. We're letting them direct, as opposed to sitting there and making the case for why we are a different kind of agent than all the other agents they've ever been around. Guys, if they can replace us with anyone, why should they ever be loyal to us? We're losing the negotiation for credibility left and right. And then we go back to the office and complain that customers aren't loyal. Oh, buyers are liars. They went with another agent. You know what? Customer goes with another agent. From me, their loss. It's going to cost them money. And I know it. It's not that I'm that arrogant. I just take my trade seriously. This is our business, guys. Right? So if the customer's afraid, it's important for us to make the case that we know how the system works. Is that normally what you guys do? Probably not, right? And that's fine. Most agents don't do that. Do we want the same results as most agents, guys?
No. No.
No, we always want better results.
Yeah, no.
So might addressing this be a place to start? What do you think? Does that make sense? Or am I out of my mind? Because I could be out of my mind. I'm willing to throw that option out there on the table. Maybe I'm out of my mind.
No,
Oh, it makes sense.
it makes sense that,
No.
Okay. So here's the crazy thing to realize, guys. What just happened there was a negotiation.
okay.
That was me negotiating with you. I put forth a perspective that was not one that you shared with me. I made my case for it. I used the best information that I had for that negotiation. Who was the seller in that negotiation?
You?
I was. Who were the buyers?
You.
Now, see, when I say to you more than 90% of what we do in our business is negotiation, you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We're constantly trying to get other people to change their perspective to one that we think is good. Now, I mean, this isn't a hill to die on. Now, I don't mean to negate in any way what I said to you. I very much believe everything I just said to you is the God's honest truth, and that is the best way to be successful in this business, hands down. That's how I built the business that I built. And honestly, I've used the attorney thing before, but I've never taken it quite that far. So you guys got a very unique version of that analogy, but I think it's a good one, right?
Yep.
I think that you just changed the perspective of the customer of what they were feared for.
Well, here's the thing, right? What I want to do is I want to brag about myself without bragging about myself.
Yeah, without pinpointing your credentials.
And it's not really about bragging about myself so much. It's really about giving the customer a sense that I know the market really, really well. If I do that, and I do that in a way that's not painful to the customer, then the customer recognizes that they found something different in me than they can find someplace else. If nothing else, I've defined myself in their mind as being a rare commodity, as opposed to just the average agent down the street. Maybe they could replace me, but it's not going to be super easy. And that's the thing that I need them to do. I don't want them to be able to go to every single real estate office in the country and find an agent just as credible as me. That's unacceptable. I need to be a rare level of credibility to them. And I do that, guys, simply by talking about the market, by simply having a real estate conversation. And so a market conversation is not a complicated thing to have. What can we say about our market right now?
That they're doing well, because all I had read is that there being a lot of sales lately.
Okay. Anybody else?
You can talk about the mortgage rates,
Okay.
incentives that it's helping for the customers to get the house for a better price.
Sure. So I don't know if you guys know, but yesterday the housing number came out, and actually how home sales were back down yesterday. They were lower than anticipated. Did you know that?
No.
Actually,
They are
no.
what? They
Yeah,
are what?
that was
Lower?
yesterday.
Oh,
Home sales were actually down some. They were expecting them to be over 1 million home sales, and it was the number previous month was like 972,000. It was like 929,000.
but I heard last week that the market was higher than expected, in that sense that usually on this season, like starting October, November, December, the market goes lower. I
Sure.
don't know.
There's parts of the country where it's very difficult to look at homes because of the weather, but we had a slowdown. Now, what do you think?
And
We're
also
supposed to be a room full of market experts here, right? That's what we're
But
putting
you
ourselves forward as. That's what we're putting ourselves out to our customer as. What do you think the reason we could give to the customer who says, well, wait a second, this is an indicator that we're in a bubble? What could we say to them to make them think that, or to justify why the market may have slowed down, market sales may have slowed down this past month?
because the elections, perhaps,
That could be a reason. Okay.
and also
The COVID-19,
the
most people lost
COVID-19
work.
COVID-19 hasn't done anything to stop the real estate market. It's actually been
No.
one of the hottest real estate markets in history.
Yes.
So it's
It is being hot also because the people are moving from up north down to south.
but
Because
see,
it
that's
went,
it's a Dalmi, that's a national number. So
okay.
you know, it's people have to buy on one end and sell on the other end. It's still transactions.
Mhm. Okay.
How about this, guys? Could we cite the fact that there's a lack of inventory as the reason why transactions have slowed?
Yes, because it is.
Yes.
If people don't have a place to buy, despite the fact that are there a lot of ready, willing, and able buyers in the market right now?
Yes, they have.
Thank you. Yes, there are. There's plenty of them, right?
Mm.
Can they all find a home right now?
Not all
No,
of them
no,
because of
because
the
there's not too many.
The
Not
answer
too
is
many
no.
houses.
There is a significant lack of inventory. Inventory is really, really tight. I'm
And
looking
that
at
the
an
prices-
area I'm looking at an area by where I live currently for a single family home for myself. I'm looking at an area that there's probably 3,000 to 4,000 single family homes. There is the median price is, fours and fives.
Mhm.
There is not one home available for less than 900,000 in that entire
I
area.
know, that's true.
So even if I wanted to buy in my area, which I do, I can't.
Mm.
So is that a nuanced market conversation? And I'm not going to launch into a deep market conversation, but just a shallow look at it. Do we get told by our customers they're waiting for the bubble to burst? That this is another bubble and they're waiting for prices to come back down?
No.
You don't get told that? You are the first agent in the last 6 months to tell me they're not hearing that. Customers tell them they're waiting for prices to go back down.
Yes, for a long time. They have been talking about that for over 2 years, 2 to 3 years,
Oh, yeah.
waiting.
And so the question is, what do we say about it, Carla? Because as a market expert, right, we shouldn't just let that stand, because literally when the customer says, well, we're waiting for prices to go back down, they're saying, your customer, am the real estate expert. And based upon as the real estate expert in the room, analysis of the market, I think the market's going to go back down. Should you, as the true real estate expert in the room, let that fly?
No.
No. Not only should you have something to say about it, you should have something that's so compelling to say about it that the customer is forced to rethink their position. You should conduct a successful negotiation with the customer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is not the negotiating class you're expecting, I imagine, at this point. All right, so let's talk about competitive. Let's talk about competitive versus collaborative negotiation. Competitive negotiation says there is only so much pie, and I want as much pie for me as I can possibly get. I will fight, bite, lie, cheat, steal, do whatever I need to do, but I want to make sure I get more pie than you get. I want to get as much pie as possible, and I will use all methods at my disposal to get there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Collaborative negotiation says, hey, wait a second. Pie is delicious. There should be more pie in the universe. If there was more pie in the universe, things would be better, right? So based on that, let's see if we can't make the pie bigger. Because if you were going to get, maybe it's possible that you were going to get half of the pie and it was a smaller pie. And maybe if we get a bigger pie, you're only going to get 40%. But that 40% of the bigger pie is a lot more pie than the 50% of the smaller pie. Does that make sense?
Okay.
All right, let me put it in terms everybody can understand. You order a personal pizza. You get half of it versus getting 40% of an extra large. 40% of an extra large is a lot more pizza. And in this universe, more pizza is always a better thing. That's an opinion, that last one. But I like pizza a lot. And now I'm hungry for pizza. Crap. All right. So in order to have a collaborative negotiation, what must we find?
The what?
In order for a collaborative negotiation to occur, we need a couple of things.
Facts.
No. the first thing that we need in order for a collaborative negotiation to occur is a collaborative negotiator on the other side. If the other side is not going to negotiate collaboratively, there is no way to negotiate collaboratively on only one side of the transaction. Because if you do, just imagine a picture of you getting bent over the desk, because that's what's going to happen. If you're negotiating collaboratively and they're negotiating competitively, you're going to get your butt kicked.
Okay.
So first thing we need is a collaborative negotiator. The other thing that we need is inequities. You want to write that down. Inequities. What do I mean by inequities? This is what I mean by that. An inequity, we're looking for things that the two sides value differently. What would be an example of that? Can anybody think of an example where there's things that the two sides value differently?
Okay. Inequities. Okay.
What do you guys think? Carla, Damaris, Isabel, what do you guys think? What would be an inequity? What would be something that the two sides value differently?
In a real estate transaction, each side is always looking for the side. If I'm represent the buyer,
I'm saying,
I'm looking.
what are things that the buyer and seller might value differently? Because what we're looking for is if there's something that the buyer wants really badly and the seller doesn't care about it too much, we can get that for the buyer because maybe we can find something that the buyer has that they really don't want that much that the sellers really wants.
So you are the one in negotiating between both of them to get the best.
Doesn't matter. We're looking for
best for
inequities.
each other.
So what could potential inequities be? What are things that routinely in real estate transactions, the two sides value differently?
Like the inspections and the price would be one side wants the inspection and the other one
The sales price or the purchase price of the property,
A good example would be time and
the
money.
commission.
A good example would be time and money. Okay.
time and money.
Yes,
Okay.
because a lot of times maybe the seller is not pressed for time and the buyer is pressed for time. Ever been a situation like that where the buyer needs to close and the seller's not doesn't have that huge a rush? But what's something the seller might value more than time? Money.
Money, yeah.
So the buyer pays a little bit more for the seller to close sooner.
Okay, yeah.
That would be a collaborative negotiation. The buyer valued the time more. The seller valued the money more. Right? The buyer really likes that chandelier. The chandelier was specifically excluded in the listing and in the contract. The seller realizes that to get that chandelier down, they're going to have to bring in a kind of special scaffold and whatever else because it's 30 feet up in the air. So while the seller really wanted the chandelier, now they're thinking about moving it and it's really going to be a pain in the butt. So maybe the seller doesn't want it so much anymore.
So there's the inequity that they have the time. The seller want the money and the buyer want to get the property faster than
Or slower. Maybe the buyer needs maybe the buyer wants the seller to have a long closing because the buyer needs to finish out what they're doing. So they want a 60-day closing.
Yeah. Okay.
Could they offer the seller a little bit more money to sweeten that deal for the seller to accept it? We're looking for inequities, guys.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So how do we find inequities?
When you about to do the contract to close, or
what do you think, Carla?
Looking for during the transaction or looking for.
But how are we going to find them? What do we need to do in order to find inequities?
Okay, you have to look at both sides.
Yeah.
Sometimes your client, it's a buyer. The buyer say, I need to move in as soon as possible, or Carla, please hold for 30 days. I need to wait for the.
You have to see what each of the sides are looking for.
Very good. And how do we find out what the other side is looking for? It's a 3-letter word. It rhymes with task.
Uh-huh. Tax.
It rhymes with task.
Tax, no tax.
The word is ask. We have to ask questions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Collaborating with the other realtor.
We have to collaborate with the other agent. And by asking those questions, we're going to find out what kind of an agent it is on the other side. Now, a lot of times I'm not the greatest collaborative agent because agents call me up and they want to collaborate on offering as little as my customer will accept. Well, what's the lowest price your customer will accept? I think it's somewhere around get the hell off the phone, get out of here. I'm not going to tell you that. I tell them the same thing. Send me your offer in writing and I'll present it. You know, any offer is an offer. Send me the offer.
Right. Usually that's what they my listing. They say how low they want the offer. I say, just send me the offer. I'll let you know if they agree to it.
I honestly, sometimes I ask him, I say, so you're trying to get me to negotiate against my customer's best interest? Is that what you're trying to get me to do right now?
Mm-hmm, right.
You know, why don't you look at the comps and send me an offer based upon what market value for the property is, and I will present your offer and any comps that you send me with your offer. That's the best I can do for you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
All right. So one of the things that we have to do, we have to make sure that we do this, is have a plan. We have to have a plan, guys. Before we speak, we got to think. Think before you speak. My father used to say it to me all the time. You're master of what you haven't said and servant of what you have. Be reasonable with your expectations as well. You know, expecting them to give you a car because you gave them an air freshener as a concession is probably not realistic. You want to have your expectations be as realistic as you can so that you know how to plan out your negotiation.
That's true. I had a situation that I had already planned, but it didn't came through because I rushed too much on my expectations.
Well, you have to manage them. Another big important part of this is to understand that communication is critical. Communication is one of the most important parts of negotiation because miscommunication is the single largest cause of deals breaking down that exists in negotiations. So stop and think for a second, guys. Think of all the deals that you've lost over time. Now realize the main reason you lost those deals, the greatest majority of those deals were lost because of miscommunication on your side or the other side. Either you didn't understand well enough their position or they didn't understand well enough your position. Let me ask you a question. If they don't understand your position well enough, whose fault is that?
Mine.
Ours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most agents think if they just say what they think needs to be said, that's the end of their responsibility. Not the case. When we say something, it's our responsibility to make sure the other side understands what it is we're saying. And when we listen, we need to repeat back what the other side said to us to make sure that we understand their position. So what you're saying is that your customer can't do this because of this, 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 and this, and they're saying that they want this. Am I understanding correctly what you're saying?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. I know that I have repeated myself and they say yes, yes, yes. At the end, it's like, did I talk Chinese or what happened? And it's the communication or the way I say things.
Well, sometimes it's important to follow up with an email. Sometimes it's important to have somebody else look at the email.
Yeah.
If you're having that happen often, have somebody else look at the email that you're sending over and say, is this clear? Read this and let me know if this is clear. What do you think this is saying?
Yeah.
And if they don't get it, then guess what you need to do? Rewrite the email. Guys, we often think that we're being clear. Most of the time, we're not. We're making assumptions about what the other side is thinking and doing. I have it happen all the time. Agents call me up in the middle of their thought. So what we should do is, hey, Josh, so what we should do is this. Okay. Who the hell is this? What are we talking about?
Okay.
Right? We make this mistake all the time, guys, and it's a big one. So we need to be careful with it. The best negotiation tool we have, what did we say it was, guys? Do you remember?
The best negotiation are truth, our facts.
There it is. Facts. How do I mean? Well, let me ask you this question. Do you have to be a better negotiator? Do you have, if you do not have the facts on your side, do you have to be a better negotiator in order to win the negotiation? What do you think? If the facts are not on your side, do you have to be a better negotiator in order to win?
Yes, you have to persuade.
Of course. If you have the facts on your side, it's just a matter of using the facts well. I'll give you an example. This is one from the listing class that I teach. I used to go in to my listings and I would have the available properties on one sheet of paper and I'd have the closed sales on another sheet of paper. And the closed sales, I just simply call sold at the top of the paper. And I learned in a class that I should call the available properties my competition. Is it fair to call the available properties competition?
Yes.
It's accurate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why do we take and do that? Well, we're trying to get the customer to recognize that we can't price ourselves higher than these guys, because if we do, well, our competition is going to do better than we will. They will sell and we won't, right? That's what we're trying to say with that, isn't it?
Yes.
But I stopped calling them competition a ways back, not too long ago, actually, because while they are competition, they're also something else. You know what they all are? You know what all available homes are?
Inventory.
Unsold.
Oh.
I currently call them these properties are unsold at the current price. Available but unsold at the current price.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that does?
Give it a chance to other people selling it.
I'm going on a listing presentation. I am showing the customer the available but unsold at the current price, and I'm showing them the ones that are sold. Is it much easier for me, now that I've presented the available properties as unsold, to ask the customer the question, all right, so what is your plan here? Do you want to sell your home or do you want to list your home? Because based upon the price that you're choosing, you're either going to be successful at unselling your home, not selling your home like all the guys that are on the market, or you're going to be successful at selling your homes like all the guys that have sold their properties. Because guys, are the sold homes usually priced lower than the homes that are unsold?
Yes.
They are. The closed sale price is almost always less than the asking price, and the asking price of the homes that sold is usually a bit less than the homes that are available in the market, right?
Right.
So my question to the customer is, do you want to price your homes like the folks that are successful or the folks that were unsuccessful at selling their home? What's your goal here? To put your house in the market or to actually sell it? Because if you actually want to sell it, why don't we price it like the folks that actually were successful at selling their home, as opposed to looking at the folks that are losers at selling their home, haven't been able to sell their home, and copying what they're doing? Because what does the customer always want to do? They always want to price their homes like
if it's a castle, the highest price.
They want to price their home like the available homes, not like the closed sales. Guys, is that just simply a repositioning of the facts? Is that just simply presenting the facts in a more compelling way?
Yes. You explain better.
Well, I just positioned the facts differently in their mind. I defined the things differently, but is it accurate to call the available homes unsold? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
I think so. Yes.
Could anybody buy those homes?
Sure.
But
as long as they have the right price.
Yeah, but
or
nobody's chosen. But what I'm saying is, but nobody has chosen to buy those homes. And what is the reason why nobody has chosen to buy those homes, without exception? I'll give you a hint. It starts with P and rhymes with lice.
The price.
That's it. If a property hasn't sold, there's one good reason for it almost every time. The price.
The price, right?
The price, the market is responding to the price and saying, no, thank you. It's a market response. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's important when we're looking to be persuasive, when we're looking to negotiate, to recognize where our facts are and to use our facts well. Now, guys, I looked at those same facts for 12 years. It's only in the last couple of years that I actually changed how I was referring to those. It took me 10 years of doing it a different way to say, hey, you know what? If I just do this way, I think it's actually a better case. I'm making a better case for myself. I'm just changing what I'm saying. Nothing else has changed. It's still the same comps. Let's talk about
Okay.
mental preparation, guys. We're going to get into the idea of getting mentally prepared for negotiation. The first thing to do is to keep your mind on your business. To be fully present in what you're doing and thinking about what you're doing. At a minimum, you need to understand what your position is. Right? What are the strengths and weaknesses of your position? Then we need to transition to what are the strengths and weaknesses of the other side's position. I want to take and figure out what things they're going to say or do to me to try to persuade me away from my position. And what I really want to do is I want to address those things before they ever get a chance to bring them up to me. They say to me, you know, they are going to say that the home inspection found $6,000 worth of things that were wrong. Before they get a chance to talk, I'm going to say, you know, this is a great house. You know, everything is good with the house, yada, yada, yada. And I mean, as far as the home inspection report comes in, I already have estimates to take and repair all the stuff that's on there. And it's only $1,200, not $6,000. So I don't know where you got that home inspector from. So those things are going to be taken care of before closing. So I don't understand why we're even having this conversation. You need to take and move forward with no concessions from the seller. Why would I do that?
For the buyer, consider it that is very small amount that they have to budget for the inspections. I mean, for the repairs.
Why would I address the inspection prior to them
To
bringing it up?
lower the price on the seller.
I'm on the seller side in this particular case.
You're in the seller.
Why would I bring it up? Why would I bring it up before the buyer's agent gets a chance to? What do you think, Carla?
Protect the seller not to lower the price that much. You can negotiate, but not.
I am
Because-
doing what's called unloading their gun.
Exactly, because instead of them give you $12,000 less of the contract, they are going to take 6,000 off instead of 12.
They're taking nothing off. I told them there's
No,
$1,200
I'm
worth of repairs. I'm making the repairs, so I don't want to hear about it.
Oh, okay.
So then when they take and try to bring up the inspection report, we already talked about that. I already told you what we're going to do about it. We're going to make all the repairs.
Oh, okay.
The reason why I do that is because I don't want them to have any ammunition to come back at me with.
Okay.
It's like being a good defense attorney. A good defense attorney addresses the things that are most harmful to their case themselves. They ask the questions of their client that are the most harmful questions. They get them out there first so that they can choose how the questions are framed.
Right.
It's exactly what we're trying to do here. Guys, it's better to not go into the negotiation at all than to go in unprepared. You always need to be prepared. You always need to be ready before you go in. If you're not ready,
Don't go to the meeting.
you need to be aware of you. All right.
Yes.
Your style, your posture, and
But
most
sometimes-
importantly, your desperation level.
No, okay. Yeah.
Desperation is not conducive to getting deals done. You
Mhm.
go out on a date with somebody and they're desperate. Sexy or not sexy?
Not
No.
going.
Thank you. I felt like that was an obvious one. Yeah, it's not sexy. It's not sexy when you do it either. When you're trying to attract and persuade the customer to work with you, if you're desperate, it does not bode well for you. The customer, it is a disincentive. It is unattractive to people.
Right.
Care, but not too much. We got to remember that we got to be willing to walk away. All right. We've got to be willing to walk away. We've got to remember a few important ideas. It's a game. We got to think of it as a game. It's a numbers game. It's just something that we're doing. we got to think about, and you got to pay attention to how you're sitting. Where are you sitting? Are you forward? Are you back? Where are you in this room? What is your position like? All right.
Yeah, the body,
Body language.
body language, right?
All right. Know if time is on your side, guys. Time is a tool. Studies show most deals get done in the last 5% of time available for negotiation. This is why so many trade deals in baseball get done in the last week of the trade deadline, because if they let that opportunity pass, they can't do any deals. So let's talk about that. Let's say an offer comes in. The offer, let's say that property is listed at 280. An offer for 272 comes in. I send it to my seller, and 5 minutes later, the seller sends it back to me signed. What do I do? What should I do with that offer? That's now a signed contract. What should I do with it?
I just send it back.
Okay.
For
Anybody else?
changing the price.
Anybody else? Just got the offer, 272, property's listed for 280. Sent it to the seller, they signed it, sent it back to me in 5 minutes. What do I do with the offer?
Send it back, because if they send it to you that fast, that means they're desperate.
What do you think, Carla? Damaris, Isabel, what do you think?
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
No.
While you're in the
You're gonna
class?
try to negotiate for
Well, guys,
the
there's
maximum.
there's all kinds of negotiations. My seller has the property listed for 280.
Mm-hmm.
The buyer's agent just sent us an offer for 272. My seller signed it in 5 minutes. I now have it back in my inbox.
You need to contact the seller. And
What if I send that offer back to the buyer
Mhm.
7 minutes after they sent it to me? What is the buyer going to think?
that you
they
are
have to make it-
desperate.
Yeah.
The exact words that are going to go through their minds are something along the lines of, damn, we should have offered less.
Mhm.
Right?
Oh, less?
Yes.
That's absolutely what's going to go through their mind. Is that a problem for me and my side? Because is the buyer going to be looking to make up for that fact that they should have offered less every step of the way?
Everything. Inspection,
They are going to
Yeah.
rake my ass over the coals for the rest of this transaction. Is that something that I'm comfortable with for my customer?
Nope.
No.
So what do you think I should do with the offer? The answer is
Counter offer?
sit on it.
Oh, okay.
Sit on it. I want to look and see how much time there is for me to respond on that offer. Usually it's at least 24 hours. I'm going to sit on the offer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the other side up the next day. And I'm going to tell them about a dream I have. I always have the same dream whenever I have an offer like that. I'm going to tell them about this dream that I had. In the dream, what happens is I call the seller up. Tell them about this offer that we got in. And the seller's like, no way I'm taking an offer that low. I'm like, please, it's a good offer. We want to get this done. Please sign it. It's good. They're good people. I want to get this. The seller makes me plead and cry, and there's tears. There's even some blood. I remember crawling across some glass occasionally, right? It's not easy. And finally, after all this, the seller finally signs the offer and sends it back to me. And I call the other agent up and I send him the offer back. And I tell him about my dream, but I forget to mention that it was a dream. Why do I do this? I want the other side to feel like there's not another friggin' nickel in this deal.
Uh-huh.
Like I squeezed every drop out of that customer I could to get this deal done. Why?
You had to work hard to get the money, to get the offer signed, so they know that in the future they have no way to come up to renegotiate or get more money out of it.
Because you're absolutely right.
more
Because I want to protect my customer's interest, and them signing that quickly and me sending it to them puts them in that position. Now, what I normally do actually is I call the seller up and say, hey, look, I'm going to sit on this for a little while. I don't want them to think that we're desperate. So, just imagine that I told you that their offer came in at 272. You told me no. I said, I gave you a bunch of reasons why. We went back and forth a whole bunch so that I can at least tell the other side that we did that. And so I was like, yeah, Josh, 272 is no good. Oh, okay. And we fake going back and forth. So I can at least say that I argued with the customer and really had to work to get their offer signed. Right?
Mhm.
All right. So know about time. How about the idea of an alternative to an offer?
Alternative to an offer.
Alternative to accepting an offer. Let's say an offer comes in and the seller says, no, I'm not accepting that offer. It's too low. I'm going to rent my house to cousin Billy Bob, his 6 kids and 4 dogs. Did the customer just present you with an alternative to the offer?
Okay.
Did this customer just give you an alternative to accepting the offer?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, they did. As the real estate professional in the room, might there be some things in that real estate transaction they may not have accounted for in their assessment that that alternative is a better deal than the deal that's on the table?
Maybe.
Yes.
I like Carla's answer better. Yes. They think, most customers, when they think about renting the property, do they see the gross rent or the net rent number as what they get to keep? They see the gross rent number.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to rent it for $2,600. Do they get to keep the $2,600?
Nope.
No.
No. What do they have to pay?
They have to pay the rent.
If they're the landlord.
The cost.
If they're the landlord.
Oh, okay.
You're the landlord. They are not looking at the issues that they're gonna have to the house later on to fix it, and if they want to sell it.
How about taxes
The
and
cousin?
insurance?
The
Yeah.
tax and insurance. That's true.
Maybe a mortgage that still has to be paid.
Mhm.
And then repairs and maintenance. And what happens when cousin Billy Bob decides not to pay the rent? And you go to the
That's
family
right.
reunion and it's
You
super
have-
awkward because you had to evict him from your house.
And yeah, and now with the pandemic, they're not allowing you to evict anybody.
So there might be some problems with that alternative that we as the real estate professional should bring up as opposed to what most agents do. Oh, but what about my commission?
Oh, that's true. That too.
We have to be the real estate professional in the room. We also need to be aware of them. Guys, where are they from? How are they? What kind of person are they? There are significant cultural differences from country to country and how people are and how they do business. Different groups do business in different ways. We need to be aware of that. We need to be ready to ask them questions to get them thinking and to figure out what they want. So we've already made the case for ourselves. We've already made our credibility pitch that we know the market well. Now we transition to asking them what they want. Right? And in addition to asking them what they want, we also have recommendations based upon what they tell us of what we think they should maybe try looking at. You might like this better, right? Are we supposed to know the market better than they do? What do you guys think?
Of course.
Of course.
We are the expert.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about body language. I'm going to try to get through this stuff a little bit quicker today, guys, so that we can give you guys a little bit more time. What is their body saying? What is the body telling us when they're not saying anything? Well, are they opened or closed? Their arms crossed, or are they their arms by their side? Are they hiding something? Are they lying? Their body can tell us that. Are they aggressive? Do they need to feel smart? What do I mean by do they need a strong hand? What does that mean?
Firm, be firm.
Okay.
Showing that you are knowledgeable.
What when I say they need a firm hand, what would be an example of a customer that needs a firm hand?
Don't give in.
A customer that you need to guide.
There we go. So a customer that maybe is on the fence. They like the house a lot, but they're afraid to make the offer. Is this the best one? And that customer, the customer that's a ditherer, that is, won't make a decision. They need somebody to help them make the decision. Now, wait a second. We've looked at 10 homes. This is the home. It's got everything you said you wanted in a home. Look at this. You told me you like the house because of this, and this. If this doesn't make it, then what are we talking about here? This is exactly what you're looking for. So we should place an offer on this home, right? Based upon all that stuff. We have to have a strong hand. That was crazy. Are they the kind of person that needs to think any ideas is theirs before they'll listen? This is a very good slide. This side talks about when customers are lying and how to tell whether or not they're lying. And the position of their eyes. This is accurate. You may want to take a picture of this one. Their eyes are going up and to their right. They're making crap up. If they go over straight to their right, they're making crap up. The left is okay. All right. The idea of reading the room. You go to a listing presentation and husband and wife are sitting across. Husband is leaning in, wife is leaning back with her arms crossed. What do we need to know?
Who is the one they're making the decisions?
Sure. We need to know whether or not she's relevant. Does she matter? If she's the decision maker, do we have a problem?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Plain and simple. Nicely said. Who was the one asking the questions? This is how we kind of figure out who the decision maker is. Who is the one giving you the most feedback? Who is the most engaged with you? Who is leaning forward? Who's making the most eye contact? And another one that's not on this list, but is a big one. Who is the one interrupting? If somebody else is speaking, if the other person interrupts, usually the person interrupting is the person that wears the pants. So how do we deal with the decision maker? Well, we need to take and get them on our side. We need to figure out what is their motivation. What terms matter to them? How do they need to be handled? What kind of person are they? Is there an external force? What would be an external force? Maybe the uncle that was in the business 30 years ago that now is going to sit in during your listing presentation and advise them. They've been out of the business for 30 years, but now they're going to advise the customers as to what they should do. Could that be a problem for us?
Yeah, because they're giving advice to the customer.
And what do we think? Do you think that advice is going to be good advice or maybe not so good? Has the business changed much in 30 years?
Definitely, yes.
It has.
Yes.
So what do we do with this guy? There's a few ways to handle him. We could take and contradict everything he says and show that he's an idiot. What's the problem with that? When we leave,
you got somebody that's going to make you some argument to see how much you know.
when we leave, after we've just made that person look like an idiot, who's still there?
Your customer?
And who
You?
else?
And him.
You?
And him. We left and he's still there.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think? Is he going to say good things or bad things about us?
Well, they're going to make look us bad, like they're going to believe more of him than us, to make us look not professional.
He's going to say nothing but bad things about him. We just made him look a fool.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the correct way to handle this? We need to get that person on our side. They're not the decision maker, but they're an influencer. So we need to get both the decision maker and this person on our side.
Right.
Is the customer the kind of customer that needs to know it all? This is a type of customer. It's the kind of customer where you have to leave breadcrumbs out for them to follow your idea to get to where you need them to go to because they only like their own ideas. Are there other influences or are they irrelevant? Like you're taking a listing from an older couple. Do I need to know whether or not they have adult children that help them make decisions?
Mhm.
You damn sure I better, because here's the thing. If the adult children find out that ma and pa are thinking about selling their home and an agent contacted them, what is the automatic assumption they have of me? Wow, this is one that you guys haven't thought about. They think if I approach their parents and their parents are older, that I am trying to scam their parents.
Oh,
As
yeah.
soon as they get involved, they're going to try to get rid of me. If there are adult children and their parents, you want to ask immediately if those children help in the decision making. And if so, can we take and get a meeting with those children right now?
Because
Right away.
maybe those children are the one that is going to pay for their parents' house too.
That's not the scenario that I'm setting up here.
Oh, okay.
This is ones where the parents are putting the property in the market and I am trying to get the listing.
Uh-huh. Okay.
If we do not get out in front of that, because the children of the parents will think we are scamming the parents, regardless of how good or well-intentioned we are. We need to have it be us that makes the meeting with the kids. Is there more than one decision maker? Guys, there are situations where couples make decisions together. Business partners make decisions together. There isn't always one person that wears the pants, so be aware it's an option. We also have to deal with bad body language sometimes. Sometimes body language can be downright awful. We have to be able to deal with it, guys. So we need to know what's going on. What is the thing that we said or did that changed their body language to the negative? Can we walk that back and do it a different way? We want to find common ground if we can and circle back to that common ground and then move from there to take and help us get their body language to open back up to us. All right, it is noon. Let's take a break. Let's say 10 minutes and we'll come back and we'll finish this up. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, guys, ready?
Okay, I'm here.
Yes, ready.
Okay. Let's go. All right. Where, when, and how we negotiate matters. All right. What time of day it is. If you're not a morning person, don't schedule a negotiation for first thing in the morning. Schedule it for later in the day. If you're going to go negotiate with someone and they have you sit in a chair that's significantly lower than their chair, well, that's a problem. You need to take and either decide to stand or change chairs. If they're going to have you sit someplace where the sun is in your eyes, you need to take and move. So that's not the case, because what they're trying to do by doing those things is they're making it harder for you to make your case. If you're negotiating from a lower position, well, oh, that won't affect me. I'm a too good a negotiator. That doesn't matter. You know what? It does. It does. It takes some bandwidth to overcome that pit that you're in. I kind of call it like going in for a job interview if you have a face tattoo. Could you get the job? Yeah, it's possible. Are you going to have to work harder than the guy without the face tattoo to get the job? Probably so. You guys get what I mean?
Yes, I got it.
Start the day right, guys. Get a good night's sleep. Always important. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to eat fruits and be healthy and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to say to you, just don't have any Chinese food after like 2:00 in the morning, the night before you have to negotiate the next day, because that's something else that could take some bandwidth the next day. You know, you're not going to feel great. The pee-pee dance. The pee-pee dance is not conducive to good quality negotiation. If you have to pee when you're in there negotiating, you're not just thinking about negotiating. You're thinking about having to pee and thinking about negotiating, which means you're not solely focused on the one thing that you're supposed to be focused on, which is defending your customer's position and negotiating. Let's talk about tactics. All right. There are tactics are what we use, especially negotiating competitively, to adjust the other side's expectations. All right. As we said before, negotiation is a lot about adjusting what the other side thinks is reasonable. Why, you may ask, why am I going to teach you all these mean, nasty, dirty tricks? Why am I going to teach you these negotiating tricks to manipulate the other side? Those aren't nice, and Barney the dinosaur definitely wouldn't sign off on that. Guys, if the other side is negotiating competitively and you don't have the skills to A, recognize the tactics they're using, or B, implement those same tactics or other tactics to the benefit of your side, what's going to happen to your side?
If you don't identify the tactic that they are using, that's what you're saying?
If you don't either recognize the tactics and know how to counter them, or implement tactics of your own, what's going to happen to your side?
You're going to be looking bad. You're going
to
to
lose. You're going to lose. Plain and simple. You're going to lose.
Exactly.
So we need to know, even if we don't use these tactics all the time, we need to know them, recognize them, and be prepared to implement them when it's necessary. Who are the best negotiators? Kids. Why? Why do they get what they want? There's a few reasons. One, they don't ask for things once. They ask for things numerous times. A lot of times in slightly different ways. The magic number is around 5. When you ask for things around 5 times, that's when you start to get concessions. Now, you don't just simply say, can I get a discount? Can I just get a discount? Can I get a discount? Can I get a discount? Can I get a discount? And then you get a discount. No, but you ask in different ways. Hey, you know, can I get a break in the price? Is there any way to get a discount here? You know, what if I worked here? What if I was a senior citizen? What if I was one of your friends or family? You know, you ask, and eventually what winds up happening is they find some way to give you the concession, but you have to ask and ask repeatedly. Why does the baby screaming in the middle of the restaurant have 2 parents running around like crazy trying to quiet them down and give them whatever they want? because the baby cares less about annoying people than the parents do. This is another important negotiating tactic. Care less than the other side does. Another big one. Don't be afraid to say no. You need to make it okay for yourself to say no. Your customers want to hear you say no sometimes. It makes them feel protected. Sometimes it needs to start with no. So can't we do that? No. Why don't you just, no, I'm sorry. We're not doing that. No. Aim high. All right. When I say aim high, you need to ask for big things. Set high goals for yourself. What do I mean by that? You say to your kid, "Hey, you want to go to the movies later?" They say, "No, I want to go to Disney World." Well, a few months later, what happens? You're sitting there carrying them through Disney World because now they're too tired to walk, and all you wanted to do was go to the movies, right? They ask for big things, and eventually they get them because not only do they ask, they aim high, and they ask repeatedly. They're persistent. Relentlessness pays off, guys. And so there's a place for being persistent. Now, here's some nicer things, nicer tools. These are tools you can use to take and get people on your side. You could say things like, you know what, to the other agent, you're more experienced than me. Maybe you could help me with this. Can you help me on this? You call the other agent up, you put an offer on their property. You see they've been in the business a long time. You say to them, "Hey, look, I'm kind of new. I want to give you the best possible offer that I can. This is where my customer is. This is the paperwork that I have set up. Is there anything else you need? Any other way? Can you help me with this? Because I want to do it well." All right. Or how would you handle this? These are all good things as a newer agent to say to an agent that's been in the business a while, to let them know that you want to do a good job and to get them on your side. If you've been in business a while and an agent is doing something that you know is as a mistake, when I was doing the business, I used to think that doing it this way was the right way to do it too. And while it makes sense, what winds up happening is this, and this. And that's why I started doing it this way. I think that might be a better way for you to get what you're looking for in this situation. Again, you're recruiting that newer agent as an older agent, an agent that's more been in the business longer. You're recruiting that agent to your side. You're saying, "Hey, look, I'm looking out for you when I'm telling you this." Make friends, guys. It's a good thing to make friends. People like to do deals with people they like. Relate to what they are doing and going through. This is a good tool to get people on your side. Oh man, you're dealing with one of those kind of customers. Oh, they're brutal. I remember I had customers like that. It's always a nightmare. Don't be afraid to talk about more than business too. Talk about family, food, vacations, whatever, other stuff. If they like you, they're more likely to want to do business with you. So let's talk about actual tactics, actual things that work. One, and it's a very successful one, is the dumb blonde technique. And it's acting like you don't know what the answer is. All right. You act like you don't know what the answer is, even though maybe you do. Guys, weren't we supposed to close on this yesterday? Don't we need an extension when we go over the timeline in the contract? Aren't that's not breach, is it? We're supposed to have something, aren't we? On the other side saying, "Ooh, crap, we're supposed to have one." The benefit of the dumb blonde technique is it does one thing really well. It allows the other side to preserve face. It preserves relationships well because it's not actually telling the other side, "You dummy, why didn't you do this?" It's saying, "Gosh, I thought it was supposed to be like this. Isn't that right?" You're asking a question, right? You're not mad. So as I said, some of the techniques are designed to adjust people's expectations and get them to line up with a different perspective of what reality is. And so one of the ways that we do this is a very common one, is a flinch. Somebody says a price, we act like the price is no good. Our face says, "What?" We have this immediate reaction. That's not right. And then I like to use this technique with a couple of others. I kind of sandwich them together. This is called the flinch, by the way, this technique. I make them repeat themselves. They tell me the price. I say, "It's how much?" And then if I really want to take and be a drama queen in this one, I'll go up an octave and I'll say, "How much?" Now, I'm making them think that I think that what they're saying is ridiculous. That's what the position that I'm going for with this. And so it's trying to get them to think that their idea of what reality is does not line up with my idea. And it's so much so that I'm having this automatic reaction that I can't even control. The third technique I like to take and put with this is, how did you get that number? Now, let's talk about what's happened here. They have put forth a price. I have flinched. I've said, it's how much? How much? I made him repeat the price a couple of times. Now, what would be the normal thing that I would need to do now? Because I have basically, by my actions, told them I think their price is incorrect. What would I normally have to do in this situation?
You ask them, how did they arrive to that number?
No. That's this technique. That's this next technique. I'm saying, based upon the fact that I have flinched, letting them, my face let them know that I don't think their price is a good price. And then I've asked them their price twice in a way that makes them think their price is not a right price. What now, theoretically, should I be forced to do based upon my assertion that their price is no good?
I don't know.
Wouldn't just you assume that now I have to prove to them why I think their price is no good? Right? They have their price. They've told me their price. I act like their price is insane. What is a normal thing that would be expected of me? Is that now, because I think their price is bad, I have to say that their price is bad because of this, and this. You're out of your mind. Your price is too high. That car is too old. It should never be that much money, right? Whatever the reasons are. But if I ask this question, what has happened?
Make them aware that you know that the numbers are higher or incorrect.
Nope. You got to understand what's going on here. Something has changed by me asking this question.
The client is not the seller will be reviewing those numbers again.
Nope. The burden of proving that the price is good or no good has switched from me to the other side.
Okay. Yeah.
I am still playing offense and they're still playing defense. Guys, is it easier to score points on offense or defense?
Offense.
It's easier to score points on offense. So what do I want to be on, offense or defense?
Offense.
And in order for me to be on offense, I need the other side to be on
defense.
This question makes them have to be on defense. They now have to defend their price. Does that make sense?
Yes.
They're going to now give me the reasons why their price is a good one. Can I now attack their reasons without ever having given them my reasons why I think their price is no good? They can't attack my reasons for saying their price is no good because they've never heard them. But now they're going to tell me their reasons why they think their price is good. That a better position to be in? What do you think?
Yes.
Does that make sense, guys?
Yes, it does. That's true.
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't know? All right. So let me go back through it again, Isabel, and see if you understand. You tell me the price is 280,000. I go, it's how much? You say 280,000. I say, how much? Now, your normal expectation of me is I now have to tell you why I think 280,000 is no good. But I say to you instead, Isabel, how did you get 280,000? Now, what do you need to do?
So I want to know first how they get to that number. Depending on what they say, I will.
Here's the thing. If you don't ask this question, you, Isabel, have to, let's say it was the conversation that we just had. I asked you how much it was. I acted the way that I did. If I don't ask you this question, I have to prove to you why I think 280,000 is no good, which means I have to give you my reasons why I think 280,000 is too high. Right?
So the idea is for them to talk, not me.
The idea is for them to lay out to you the reasons why they think 280 is a good price. If they do that, could I individually attack those reasons why they think 280 is a good price? Well, the market's really hot. Well, no, it's a condo. The condo market is not really hot. There's a 4.5-year supply of condos in the market right now. And in that particular building, there's a 5-year supply of condos, right? I could individually attack the reasons that you have. And the best part is I've never told you in the first place why I thought 280 was a bad price. I never gave you my reasons to think it was a bad price. All I'm going to do is attack your reasons.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
What do you think, Carla? Damaris, you guys still with me?
Yes, I think you explain better now. I got you. Why it's too expensive. Yes, thank you so much.
No problem.
Because I'm here.
All right, another one. These guys, I'm going to give you guys 2 throwaway lines. These lines are just, you say them to the other side, and now the other side has to deal with them. They don't mean anything really. All they really are something that you say that puts the other side back on defense again. Now they have to defend against this line. So one of them is, I have a budget. It's this much. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't go there. I have a budget. What's the other side going to ask? Okay, well, what's your budget? Well, my budget is, all right, well, let's see if we can figure out how to get there. But wait a second, I haven't even given any good reasons why the product isn't worth what you said it was worth. I haven't attacked the product at all. I haven't attacked any of your logic at all. All I've said is I have a problem that I'm now making your problem. Isn't that what just happened?
Yeah.
I have a budget and I'm making my budget your problem. It's a throwaway line, but it's a good one. Here's another one. It's our policy. I have a friend. The friend used to carry around a handwritten policy book in his pocket. He eventually had it typed up and made into a little booklet. One of his policies was that if he went to a restaurant where he had a reservation and they made him wait more than 10 minutes for his table, that the manager must provide him with a drink and finger foods at the bar while he waits. That was his policy. Do you know how many times this guy got drinks and free finger foods at the bar? Happened all the time. You know why? Because it was his policy. Because as a negotiating point, once again, it puts the other side on defense. Yes, sir, but we don't provide drinks and it's not our policy here. Yes, but it's my policy here that if I wait more than 10 minutes, look, did you make me wait more than 10 minutes for my reservation? Well, yes, sir, we did. All right, well, my policy is, and next thing you know, the guy is at the bar having finger foods and a drink. These throwaway lines are powerful, guys. All right. The idea of giving to get. This is very effective in most of South and Central and North America, and most of the world where Christendom has taken place. The idea that if somebody gives you something, it's right to give something back. Kind of a fair play, tit for tat thing. This is not the case in much of the rest of the world. Much of the rest of the world, when you give something, they assume it means weakness on your side, and they start asking for more. Okay, so that's a problem. Nibblers. Nibbler is somebody that signs a contract and then starts asking for things after the contract is signed. And they keep asking and asking and asking and asking and asking. It's a tough type of customer. It's a type of negotiation style, and you have to take and deal with it appropriately. If you're going to be the one nibbling, then you nibble until they shut you down. If somebody starts to nibble with you, you need to shut them down right away.
How do you shut them down?
Exactly.
Easy. No.
Just say no.
No. No. I hear what you're saying, and no, we won't be doing that.
Okay.
Okay. Take it or leave it.
Not a matter of take it or leave it. No, we have a signed
Just no.
contract. That wasn't included in it. Sorry, we can't do that right now. Oh, you're going to
Okay.
walk away. Okay, then you're going to forfeit your deposit. That's no problem too. Whatever your preference is. I just, All right. The walk away. The walk away is kind of the nuclear option. It says, take it or leave it. I'm out. You don't take it, I'm walking out the door. I'm walking. Okay. The problem is, what is the problem with the walk away? The walk back. Let's say you go to your customer says to you, look, I want $265 for this property and not a penny less. So you go in there and you tell the other side, we're taking $265 or I walk. And they say, well, you know what? The best we're going to do is $262.5. So I guess we're done. So you go back to your customer, you say, look, you told me to walk out. If I couldn't get $265, they wouldn't give me $265. I walked. They said the best they do is $262.5. And your customer says to you, oh, well, I would have taken that. So what do? Well, the best way to do that, the best way to walk back the walk away is another very powerful technique called good cop, bad cop. All right. And this is where you usually would enlist your broker or somebody like that to come in and say something like, you know what, that Josh guy, he's a hothead. I know he walked away from the transaction, but I was talking to the customer. Look, I think there's a deal that can be done here, right? Where were you guys on this? Let me see if we can't sort something out. Good cop, bad cop. The thing with good cop, bad cop that makes it so powerful is that even when you know they're doing it to you, it still works. It's a very effective negotiating tool.
Okay.
Anger. Anger is a super powerful tool. A lot of people grow into adults and use anger because they know it helps them get what they want. They behave badly enough and people give them what they want. This happens to us. I don't know if any of you guys have had the angry agent call you, yelling and screaming because they're not getting what they want. It's a thing. It's also a tool that you can use on other people. Not a nice tool, but it works. Sometimes it's the right tool, guys. Look, a hammer is not always the right tool for every single job, but sometimes the hammer is the right tool. So the part that makes you a pro is knowing which tools to use in each situation. So we need to recognize what tools we have available to us. Making people repeat themselves. We talked a little bit about making them repeat themselves. It's a way to combat anger as a tactic. Somebody's yelling and screaming at you. One of the things you can do is wait for them to cool off and then ask them to repeat themselves because you really weren't paying that much attention. They might be frustrated by having to repeat themselves, but they can never work up the same anger they did the second time as they did the first. It just doesn't. Another one that people like to use a lot is meeting in the middle. Meeting in the middle is a tactic, but it's also one you need to be very, very careful of. Because when you say that you're going to meet in the middle, it says, hey, you're at 260, I'm at 265. Let's meet in the middle at 262.5. You've already told the other side that you'll go to 262.5 and they haven't told you anything. Your new starting place is 262.5. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Time. When time is on your side, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes your customer has time pressure on them and that the other customer does not. You need to be very aware of time and figure out who has, if there is a disproportionate time pressure. If it's on the other side, let's say the other side is in a hurry to get it done. What is in your best interest? What do you think? If the time pressure is on their side, what should you do?
I think if the time is on their side,
If
I
they have
probably
time pressure,
I wait.
yeah, go slow.
Go
Go
slow.
slow.
Go slow.
Yeah. Because the thing is, the more time pressure there is on their side, the more desperation there will be, the more willing they are to make concessions.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying to use that all the time, but I'm saying if they're a tough negotiator on the other side, we can slow things down if they have time pressure on their sides, and it's going to make them more desperate to get things done. Appealing to higher authority. Guys, this is a very good tactic that we can use in our business because are we the final decision maker? Guys,
Can you repeat one more time? The
are
last
we the final decision maker in the transaction? I'll give you a hint. It's a 2-letter word and it sounds like snow.
No.
Carla, you are good. You are a master at handling my hints. No, we're not the final. The customer, our customer is the final decision maker. We don't
Yeah.
sign the contract. We get them to sign the contract. So appeal to higher authority is where we go and say to the other side, hey, look, your offer is at 285. My customer's looking for 290. If you give me 280, 288, I will make my customer take it. You get me 288, I'll get it done.
Right.
Now, understand my customer already told me they would take 286, but I'll take it. I'll try to get them 288. Why?
Right.
Because I don't want this deal. I want every deal my customer's ever going to do. If I bring them an extra 2,000 more than they told me they would take, is that different than most other agents out there? Before you hurt your brains, yes, it is. If the customer says they'll take whatever number, their agent almost always gets them that lowest number the customer said they would take. Because they literally give up on the negotiation and to get to that number. It's not a very good high recommendation for our industry that we do that. All right, this is another super tough, powerful technique called silence.
Block.
Silence is a tough one. Silence requires you to take and say something and then sit there silently until the other side speaks. For dramatic purposes, it's a very, very potent tool. So you can use it. You know, you say, look, the best we're going to do is 280.
Yes, silence yourself.
That's it. Make them have to say something. All right, what are the phenomena that occurs with negotiation? And guys, I'm wrapping this class up quickly for you guys because I know you have things to do, and so do I. So we're moving along.
Okay.
Is to call on the closer. One of the things that happens is that if you're having a particularly tough negotiation, sometimes the feelings get hurt enough on the various sides where they won't do a deal just because it's you and they're irritated at you for how tough the negotiation has been. That's when it's time to go get your broker or somebody else, a partner or something, and have them step in and say, hey, look, you know, I think we're really close in this deal. Let's see if we can't get it over the goal line. And, you know, we're just, you know, we're going to keep Josh out of this for the time being. I think that there's just been a lot of back and forth on this one, and maybe this is the best way to get this done. So how to get better at the negotiation? One of the things that you need to do, guys, is take notes as you're negotiating. If you do something well or poorly, make a note of it. When you're done, debrief yourself. What happened? What did you do well? What could you do better? What were the places you made good decisions on? What were the things that you should have done better? Review your notes, go over them, think about them. Mentally go back to the table, feel bad, and you want to make sure that you feel bad enough about the mistakes that you make to not do them again, but not bad enough that you quit trying. And that's the tough balance to walk, is to get between feeling bad enough to punish yourself enough that you won't do it again, but not so bad that you feel bad about yourself that you won't even try anymore. All right. Understand that as we practice things, this is what a synapse in the brain looks like. As we practice things, this sheathing in the brain gets thicker and thicker. And that sheathing is what enables the things that we want to do to more easily get done by our body. It's actually an insulator that allows the synapse to function better. That myelin builds up very quickly when we actively focus on the fact that we're practicing things. All right. So we want to take and actively recognize that most of our interactions in not just work, but in life are some form of negotiation, so that we're actively working on getting better at it every single day. Make negotiation part of life, guys. Discounts, preferred treatment, better compensation, significant other, kids, all of those are places where we're negotiating all the time. We want to be aware of that, and we want to actively act like we're practicing to get better at something. Okay. Remember also that there's life after negotiation. Negotiation is not the end of our real estate career. It's not the end of everything. It is a piece. It is a tool on life and in business, in life and in business.
Let me ask a question,
Uh-huh.
Judge. In any negotiation that you probably had been experienced, have you had one where you are at the closing in that moment, the buyer or the seller said, we're not going to do any deal here, and
Yep.
everything shut down?
Mhm.
How do you handle that?
Depends on who it is and why it is. If they have a reason to be able to do it and it's legal, then there's nothing I can do. If the seller decides they're not going to sell just because they arbitrarily decide not to sell, then I'm going to have the buyer sue them for specific performance.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And same thing if the buyer decides not to move forward, then there's every reason in the world to pursue their deposit. I had that happen just the other day.
Mm.
The buyer's
Yep.
son was supposed to provide money to the buyers, and at closing, he decided not to for an arbitrary reason. The buyers lost their $5,000 deposit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's one of only a couple of times ever in my career that we've actually kept the deposit. So guys, remember that there's life after negotiation. Relationships are important. The tactics that I've shown you can hurt relationships, can make people not like you, can hurt feelings. Remember to keep it all in balance. Negotiation is a piece of life. It's not all of life. So keep it in balance. All right. If you like this stuff, acecloser.com. That's my website. That's where the course schedule is. Josh D. Cadillac. If you like Instagram, you can find me there. If you have any questions, I'm here to take questions now.
Thank
Otherwise,
you.
that's all we got.
Remember to call me.
Okay. Give me a ring anytime. Otherwise, guys, let me stop the share.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for
My
the
pleasure.
class.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks for coming to hang out, guys. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Thank
Is
you.
this
Thank
is
you.
this
Thank you.
class is recorded, Josh?
It shows that they're recording it, I think. So yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay.
All right.
And okay.
All right, guys. Take care.
I'll give you a
Okay.
call in a
Bye.
minute.
See you soon.
See you then.
Bye bye.